Hi, everyone. Happy Wednesday. So, today we're going to talk a little bit about various corporations, the startup process, what's needed for them, and then head over into a topic about the need to have multiple potentially companies versus just having everything under one hat. So, I'm going to start at the very, very beginning, which is where my clients always start the questions of do I open up an S Corp, a C Corp, an LLC? And they always start that conversation with me. And I always say that this is more of an accounting question than it is a legal question. So I am going to ask Jade now your thoughts on this. And what do you tell clients when they ask you that question?
Hi everyone, thanks Irene. So I would usually send them to one of my CPA colleagues who help them figure out which one of the entities it is. Then we'll have the articles of organization and then we'll apply for the EIN number. And then they would come to us for bookkeeping and say, well, I have either one company or three companies and I need QuickBooks files set up for each and please help us get started with the bookkeeping. And I would say so each company has a EIN number, and then we would subdivide. So a new EIN is a new QuickBooks file. If you have one company that's doing a few things, we could kind of subdivide it in QuickBooks. We could set up classes, and I could actually, provide profit and loss statement by each of these entities subdivided within the one entity that has a EIN number, and then we could kind of work that way. I don't see a lot of issues on our end as long as we keep it separately and we're able to kind of give an idea at the end of the day what it is. And we sometimes do work that way. However, I do advise to have, it's much easier for everybody to just have one separate QuickBooks file. But I know that even though for us it might not be such a big issue, I do think that there's a lot of legal issues and problems that it could potentially have. And I wanted to go back to Irene on that.
Thank you. Yeah, so that's something that we've seen as an issue from various different perspectives. Most recently, we're working on one company, which the owners of the company, I guess, assumed or wanted it to operate more so like a holding company would, meaning that it would be the one company that would get all of the assets and then pay all the companies beneath it. The problem was that those companies were not set up that way. There were no documents actually saying that. And in reality, what happened was one company would send money to another, that company to yet another. And now we have a question of whose employees were they? Because if the employees worked for company D, but were paid by company A, well, now we have an issue and a potential misappropriation of funds, improper payment of employment wages, and you're trying to bring this all together. That's a huge issue. Also, when you have multiple types of businesses under one hat, meaning under one LLC or under one corporation, we also run the risk that, let's say, one LLC both operates a store, and in that store, they're selling, let's say, computers. And at the same time, that same LLC also owns real estate, and in that real estate, they're collecting rents. So there's two streams of income coming into the exact same LLC. The concern there is if there's an accident that occurs or potential slip and fall that exceeds the policy in the building, they're going to go after the assets of the LLC, which may affect the other business. And that's one of the main factors that we consider as one of the reasons why we say keep everything separate. Because also you have a situation where if there's an employment claim from the store that sells these computer goods, you don't want them to go after potential rents and income from the tenants that were there, because that's going to now create an additional possible subpoena, some more information. And we've seen in the past a very similar situation where whether it was tenants or other clients of the other business, and I care for not to say company, but specifically business under that company, corporate, or LLC structure, once they get notices that there's another creditor for the other business, they stop paying. And so it's this cascading effect because they don't know who to really pay. They don't know what is going on. And so of course that fear and worry kicks in. So that's one of the biggest things that we look out for. And then also that misappropriation claim, especially if there's partners in the business, you should be keeping those streams of income completely separate. So that's something that we absolutely recommend. Sometimes I'll have a question where, what if it's the exact same business, just two locations? That's something different. We want to see how the two locations would operate. Is it worth to have that one parent company, or do you want two separate companies to be opened up for each location separately? Again, and then we get back to the questions of, are there employees? How do they carry insurance? And so on. And how much information do we actually have on them? So if there are any questions on this at all, whether it's from startup and what type of entity it should be open from an LLC to an S or C Corp, how to manage the books and records and bookkeeping, please feel free to reach out to Jane. And then if there's additional questions on how to handle and manage the money, whether it's with partners or not, various streams of income into one business, whether that's correct in this type of business or that should be separated, please feel free to reach out to me as well. We're always happy to help. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you.